Thank you for joining us for the post-game press conference of the first four game in the 2023 NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship hosted at Simon Scott Assembly Hall. A reminder that the open locker room period for Monmouth has begun and will run concurrently with this press conference. On the dais from Monmouth, we're joined by head coach Jenny Bogus, junior Ariana Vanderhoop, and graduate student Lucy Thomas. We'll have Coach Bogus make an opening statement, followed by questions for the student-athletes and then for the coaches. For those of you joining us on Zoom, raise your hand, and we will get to you after the room. Coach?
Wow. What an incredible run by these young women. I couldn't be more proud to be their leader. Couldn't be more proud to be here representing Monmouth. Got to give a lot of credit to Tennessee Tech right there. They were ready to go, and they shot the lights out tonight. And again, we scored 79 points. I haven't seen a stat sheet. A little bit of emotion with the team, but we scored 69 points. We traditionally win those basketball games. So credit to them for being ready to go, but I am, although disappointed, bursting with pride and so thankful for this group and the trajectory of our program and where we're going.
We'll now take questions in the room. For the student-athletes, raise your hand, and we'll get you a mic. Reminder, give us your name and your outlet, please.
Nick Jenkinson, South Central Indiana News Network. Ariana, for you, you had a great game, 17 points. You seemed from the get-go to just lead this team. How did it feel getting this team to your school's first tournament appearance in forever, since '83?
My teammates and my coach gave me the confidence to go out there and do what I did.
Greg Campbell with Indiana. This question is for Lucy. Lucy, you grew up 10 miles away from the university. What did it mean to you in your fifth year to be able to bring this team to the NCAA tournament?
Means a lot.
Yeah. Lucy chose to stay home when it wasn't cool. And that's a lot of pressure on a young woman, especially a really talented one. And so when we got to Monmouth, we just wanted to make sure that we freed her up to be who she is and play basketball again. And I think one of the greatest joys of these past 2 years has been watching her fall back in love with basketball and be who she is and play the game that she loves. And she chose us twice. She chose to come back. And so we would not have had the season that we had if Lucy hadn't been anchoring it down low. And she wasn't a starter for us all year. You know, she's an incredibly selfless young woman who plays her role to the best of her ability. And she's an incredible leader that has really propelled our culture forward.
Sorry. Means a lot to me. Couldn't have done it without coaches, staff, especially my teammates, sisters, just everybody. Just the support, love, and confidence they just give. And it's just a whole team effort, and I'm glad I got to do it with them.
Ed Holdaway with Hammond Communications. Ladies, start with you, Lucy. Obviously a lot of emotion, but when you get a chance to look back and see that you won 4 games in 4 days to get to this point, what will you take away from kind of that ride and getting to this game and getting the NCAA appearance?
Yeah, I'm just so proud of everyone. So my teammates, just the hard work and effort we put in throughout the whole year, and just never giving up and just fighting to the end and getting the chip. But I'm just really proud of them, proud of all of them.
Like she said, I'm super proud. And I previously said no one thought we could do it besides us in that locker room. So it was a special feeling to make it that far when no one thought we would. We stayed together throughout those days, and it was a great experience and a learning experience. Looking forward to get back to work and get right back here.
Ariana, you talked about it yesterday, all of the graduates and seniors and people that are going to leave this program this year. How do you take what you've learned from them and maybe pass it on to the next group that you're going to try to get back here next year?
They're leaders, even when they're not in the mood, they bring the energy to the team every single day. They work hard, they compete. Like she said, Lucy wasn't even a starter, and she was a huge part of us this season. Extremely inspiring to how hard they work, and I would definitely carry that over.
Anything else for the student athletes?
For both of you, your first time playing in Simon Scott Assembly Hall, obviously a historic place with a lot of tradition. What's your impressions of getting to play here?
Truly a great experience. Like I said, first time being here, so it's just something I will never forget. And I'm just glad I got to do it with this group of girls and the staff, coaches, and everyone.
Like she said, it was a great experience, something I'll never forget.
Anything else in the room? Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. You may return to the locker room. Congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now take questions in the room for Coach. Coach, I'll kick it off. What does it mean for the student athletes that have, chose to stick around this program to be at this point from where they were just a couple of years ago?
I mean, I think it says so much about their character, their integrity, their families, how they were raised. You know, when I got the job, the thing that stuck out the most to me was that everyone stayed. And I know it's a testament to Monmouth and the community and the athletics department and the education, but it's a testament to the trust and the leadership to make the right hire for the next move. And we got to work day one. And, state the obvious, right, it happened a lot more quickly than any of us thought would happen. But we were, able to assemble some talent and then get on a run and get hot. And so I just, again, overwhelmed with gratitude and pride in this team and who we're becoming. And I couldn't be more grateful to do it with this group of women. We have so much fun, and you can't argue that. They genuinely love each other. They show up for each other every day, like Ari said, even when it's hard. And that's what you want. You want to create an environment where they can learn lessons to go forth and carry those into the next phase of their lives. And I think we've been able to do that for these seniors.
Coach, at what point with this group did you know that you had something special, especially having to go through that grind of the conference tournament and winning 4 games in 4 days? But at what point did kind of the light click and you knew that you had an opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, well, we beat Drexel at home, and I think that was a big moment for us. They're obviously very good, perennial CAA power, perennial mid-major power in our area. And then we went on the road and lost a tough one to Elon and then lost another tough one to A&T, and I could feel them slipping away a little bit, just a little tired, a little beat down from the travel and the pressure and the demands that this new league brought with travel and everything. And so just challenged them really hard. And I said, yeah, who am I to think that we should go on the road and win at A&T? At the time, I think they were 2nd or 3rd in the league, and that's an incredible environment to play in. I was like, our first year in the league, like, who am I? Like, what was I thinking? And they all just started shaking their head like, no, Coach, we should have won. I was like, good. I've been saying it. And that was the first time they really owned kind of their greatness. And then from then, again, we got Jania Hall back healthy. Lovin started to get back in shape. Bell's dust kind of shook off from the shoulder, and they were just locked in at a different level those 4 games at the tournament. And we executed at a really high level, especially defensively. And, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. But, yeah, it was after the A&T game at home. We could have gone either way, and credit them. They really stepped up, laced them up, and were ready to go.
So obviously that last locker room of the year is always really emotional, and we saw it with the 2 young ladies up there. What was your message to the ones that won't be back and to the ones that will be returning, hoping to replicate this year's run?
Yeah, to the ones that won't be back, you changed our program. You chose us. Thank you for trusting us, and you made me better. We talked about a book, Legacy, that we've read, and one of the main core principles is to leave the jersey better than you found it. And they did that. And they left me better, for sure. They made me want to be better for them every day. And we're grateful for them. And they're always, this 2023 team, the funny phrase has been 83 wants some company with the banner up there. So 23 is the company, and they'll always be back, and we'll celebrate them forever and ever. And then the ones that are coming back, why did we get here? Why was today harder than maybe last Sunday? And what are we going to do in this offseason to make sure that the next time we get this opportunity, we're even more prepared? And you heard Ari, she's such a gym rat. She's such a hard worker. She probably would go get a workout right now, but we're obviously going to take a little time off. But that was the message. How can we carry forward all the work that we've done and build on it?
Anything else in the room for Coach? Do we have any questions from Zoom? If there are no more questions, Coach, congratulations on advancing to the NCAA tournament, and best of luck in the offseason.
Thank you.
Thank you again for joining us for the post-game press conference of the first four game in the 2023 NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship hosted at Simon Scott Assembly Hall. A reminder, the open locker room portion for Tennessee Tech has begun and will run concurrently with this press conference. For those of us joining on Zoom, please raise your hand and we will get to you towards the end of the press conference. On the dais from Tennessee Tech, we are joined by head coach Kim Rosemond, senior Malia Owens, and senior Jada Gwynn. We will have Coach Rosemond make an opening statement, followed by questions for the student athletes, and then questions for Coach. Coach, the floor is yours.
What a special night for Tennessee Tech, our university. What a special night for Tennessee Tech women's basketball, our alumni, our fans, our families, but especially for those young women in that locker room. What an incredible group of young women that we have. To see the way they have grown and matured over the last 2 months. I'm just honored to be their coach. I'm honored that I'm along for the ride with them, and we're excited that we get 40 more minutes together on Saturday.
We'll take questions for the student athletes now. Please raise your hand and reminder, give us your name and outlet when asking your question.
Nick Jenkinson, South Central Indiana News Network. Ladies, you both had 18 points. You both go perfect from the free throw line. The team hits 12 three-pointers tonight. How confident were you in the fact that you guys got out to a great start, but you were both able to, have great games from both the line and the field?
I think for me, we knew in warm-ups we were shooting the ball well, especially Peyton. She shot the ball really well in warm-ups. She knew she came out hot in the first quarter. And I think we all knew that we really just had to do everything that we've been doing. We didn't have to make anything special. We didn't have to make this game a do or die, even though it was. We didn't have to make it bigger than it was. And I think that that's one thing that kept us poised throughout the game. And even when it was close or even when they went on a run, we knew that we had been in these situations before. So all we had to do is the same thing we've done all year.
And I would say our confidence just comes from our preparation. We have really great shooters on the team, and that just happens from them getting in the gym. So the confidence just comes from the work. And then when you get in those game situations, you just knock down shots. And I would just say me and Malia both, we just did what we had to do for the team. So,
Greg Campbell from Indiana, I'd like to ask because it just seemed like everything was going in early, but have either of you ever been a part of a night where it just seemed like early on everything that you put up was finding the bottom of the net?
Yes. I think a couple of times this season as a team we've had games like that. I know, me specifically, we played Southern Indiana at home, and it was like the gates just opened up and the goal was huge. And so I think once one person starts off like that, it's also really easy for everyone else to kind of chip in. We just feed off that energy.
Thomas Cochran, Tennessee Tech. For both student athletes, this is something not a lot of OVC student athletes have ever done. Only 2 OVC schools have ever won an NCAA tournament game, and this is the 4th for Tennessee Tech. What does that mean to you guys?
Jada, why don't you start?
I think it means a lot, that we just not only get to represent our school and our community and stuff, but we get to represent the OVC just in general. So I'm really happy and excited that we did that because I didn't know that there had only been a few schools that did that. So I'm just glad that we're in that position.
And I think one thing Coach Rose always says is success leaves footprints. And so I think that since we started this year, this paves the way for not only Tech and our teams and our younger kids going forward, but schools in the OVC to be able to keep paving that way and keep winning games in the tournament.
Anything else for the student athletes?
Malia, I know you mentioned it yesterday, being from Kentucky, you know about playing here, or you know about Simon Scott Assembly Hall and what this place means. I just want to get your thoughts now that you've played here for the first time and you get your second game against IU Saturday. And also for you, Jada, what's your thoughts going into Saturday's game?
Honestly, I'm really excited to be able to play against Indiana on their home floor. Like you said, I'm from Kentucky, watching a lot of basketball games there, and I think to be able to do that and be able to play against Indiana, they're a great team, and I think that's something that every mid-major, every smaller school wants to be able to have a chance to take a shot at that big team, and so we're really excited for that.
Yeah, I would say we're excited too, regardless of who we're going to play. I know that they're a great team and there's a great environment here, so I'm excited to get to play in it.
Malia, with your fourth three-pointer tonight, you set the single-season three-pointers record, a record set by your assistant coach, Allison Clark. How cool is that? Did it even cross your mind you were even that? Well, 87. That's an incredible number.
I had no idea. Actually, Coach Rose came in the locker room and she was kind of looking at me, and I was like, "What's going on?" I was a little nervous, but I think that's something that's this whole season for me has been kind of like surreal, and it just want to thank God for that, honestly, because it's like I've been here for 4 years now and kind of not really performing at the level that I am this year, but I think everything kind of just came together. And I think playing on a team with a bunch of great players also helps that. Like, if one person is the only person that can do something on your team, they can just lock in on you. But the fact that we have so many weapons on our floor and anybody at any night can go off kind of gives you a chance to get those open looks. So it's not only credit to me, it's credit to my teammates as well.
I want to say this too, and congrats, Malia. We recognized it in the locker room, and what an incredible accomplishment. The way she has shot the ball this year has been unbelievable. But it also comes from a lot of work. These two have been in the gym for 4 years, and so it's not an overnight success. I mean, Malia and Jada both have put the work in, and just super proud of her and what she's done. But to see her become the complete player she has, even when the ball's not going in the hole as consistently as it has for her most of the year, she's been doing so many other things that help us win basketball games. She's our ball stopper in transition, and I can tell you, not a lot of people want that job, right, Jada Gwynn? That's a tough job. She has to stop the ball in transition. She and Reagan Hurst every time down the floor. The way she has grown defensively, rebounding. I mean, you saw her get to the paint, and hit an important runner tonight, which she's done so many times. So just really proud of how she. Of the way she has played this season. And then down the stretch, obviously, Jada just took over like she has so many times over the last couple weeks. So these two are playing like you would expect your seniors to play. And it was awesome to also see 6-year senior Jordan Brock, who broke the career. I mean, we've got the career three-point record on our team, and as well as the season, and it was held by both Coach Allie Clark. So that's pretty special, and that's pretty neat. And so to see her have the game that she had tonight on the stage that she had, just really, really proud of our senior leadership tonight.
Great. Malia, Jada, thanks for joining us. You may return to the locker room, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. We'll now take questions for Coach. Raise your hand and we'll get you a microphone.
Ed Holdaway from Hammond Communications. Coach, so obviously you've been around the game, you've watched the tournament. When did it sink in, not only that you were coaching your team in the tournament, and that now you've won a tournament game as a head coach at Tech?
Well, this has been an incredible week for our entire program. Cookeville and our fans and our families and our administration, what they have done for us this week, they have showed up and showed out. And so I wanted to make sure, so many times in athletics, you don't get to enjoy big wins. You don't get to enjoy big moments. And so it's awesome. I love that we were the first ticket punched, because we didn't know who our opponent was going to be. And while we practiced and made sure we were prepared for tonight, we also let our kids enjoy it. But I had a moment when the team was out warming up in the locker room, when I was in there by myself, and you see all the March Madness. And I've been fortunate enough to be here. This is my 13th time, but it's also, as you said, my first time as a head coach. And they're all special. But to know that we have worked so hard to build this, and from where it was when we got here in 2016 to see where it is today, back on a national stage, it's a blessing to be part of it.
Coach Nick Jenkinson, South Central Indiana News Network. Of course, we talked about the three-pointers, but you all were 17 and 19 from the free throw line. You also went the last 2:29 without a field goal. So were you a little nervous toward the end of the game when things weren't quite going the way they were supposed to?
I won't say nervous because I had full confidence in our team. Sometimes we tend to make it interesting down the stretch and a little bit longer than it has to be. That last minute and a half seemed like an eternity. But to our kids' credit, we finished it at the free throw line. And up until that point, up until the last 2 minutes, I loved the way we defended tonight. We won. We either won every quarter or tied. There was not a quarter that we lost, and I really thought it started tonight on the defensive end. Look, Monmouth is a very good basketball team. They came in probably one of the hottest teams in the country. They had to win four games to get here. They had to beat a very talented Towson team on their home floor, and they are one of the best rebounding teams that we have played against all year. They were averaging nine made three-pointers a game the last four games. And so to hold them to 6 threes tonight, now we gave up a lot of paint points in the process, but we felt like they relied on the three ball a lot to win that championship. And so we wanted to take away the three, and we knew we had to do a great job rebounding the basketball. And while we didn't win the rebounding war, we lost it by 1. I thought we did an incredible job to hold them to only 9 offensive boards, and I thought that was a big key tonight.
We talked a lot about Jada Malia's contributions tonight, but there were a lot of contributions tonight from Peyton Carter to Anna Walker to Jordan Brock. It was a complete, total team effort.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. You can go down the list. I thought the way Peyton Carter came out and played that first quarter, I think she had maybe 12 points in the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken, had hit 4 threes. And to get that kind of confidence and that kind of swagger early in a game like this, on a stage like this, I thought it just was infectious to the rest of our basketball team. And I'm so proud of Anna Walker's toughness tonight. She didn't have the best first half, but she regrouped at halftime, and she came out and was the aggressive, athletic Anna. I thought she came up with some huge rebounds, hit a big 3. We didn't hit a lot of threes in the second half. I think we had 10 at halftime, if I'm not mistaken, and then only hit 2, and she had one of those. Again, Jordan Brock came up huge for us tonight, and to see her confidence start flowing. I thought Kiara Hill came in and gave us some big minutes off the bench, and while Reagan Grimes' numbers, don't wow you, she is such an important piece. We're just a more confident basketball team when she is on the floor, and she gives us a next level of athleticism and physicality that our team really needed. And it was really good to get Reagan Hurst. She's still battling an injury, but she toughed it out tonight. She said, "Coach, I'm not missing tonight." And so, I thought our depth was huge. And again, we became a pressing team after we lost to TSU on February 11th, and I said this in the press conference earlier. I have to credit Coach Melanie Walls for that. She came in and made that suggestion, and I won't say I've ever been the smartest person in the room, but I'm definitely smart enough to listen when I have smart people around me. And I thought our press really bothered them and wore on them, and really kind of took their legs from them and helped us, with defending the three-point shot as well. We gave up a couple late out of our press, but I thought the risk-reward, won out in that sense.
Coach Greg Campbell with Indiana, even with the shots that your team was hitting early, it seemed like Monmouth always had a response. How proud are you of your group to just keep responding to every time they kind of came back and got in the game?
Well, it's part of our culture. It's what we preach every single day. Probably sometimes for those guys to a nauseum, but I mean we it's our SOAR culture, and it's the S is for serve others, the O is for own it, the A is for acquire knowledge, and the R is for respond. And so we truly, throughout the season, have had to learn how to respond. We've had adversity, we've had injuries, just like every team does throughout a season. But we said this after the championship game, there's a reason they call it a season. And we have stayed true to our process. We have believed in our process. Even when, I think we were 9-5 in the league after the TSU game. We didn't we didn't totally change everything we did, but we did tweak things. And our kids they were already bought in, but I think they got all in after that. And the response, they have every time their backs have been against the wall this year, they've responded. And that's the heart of a champion. And I've got a locker room full of kids that have the heart of a champion.
We have time for one more for Coach.
Coach, one of the words that I've heard you use and your young ladies use a lot is confidence. How rewarding for you as a head coach is it to see just a group of young ladies come together and to be that confident, both on and off the court?
Well, what is so special? There's a lot of special things about our team, but we have an all-female staff, and we have I got to credit my coaching staff first because they pour into these young women. Not just as players, but as people first. And I think you said that's our job. It is our job, as adult women to help them build confidence, not just as basketball players, but as people. And we want them to walk into a room and be able to own a room, whether that's a classroom, a locker room, a boardroom, it doesn't matter. And we talk about that every day. And so to see them obviously build confidence as a team, but also just to watch the way they carry themselves. I mean, you just saw, two of our players just stand up here and so eloquently answer questions. And there's not one young woman in that locker room that I couldn't bring up here that wouldn't represent us in that way. We have first-class human beings in that locker room. We have character in that locker room. And we said it before the game. We didn't become connected when we won a championship. We won a championship because we were connected. And there's just, when you are part of something that's bigger than yourself, there's not many times in life you get to do something like this. And this is something that is going to carry with them for the rest of their lives and carry them hopefully to places outside of basketball that we could all only dream about and imagine.
Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We will connect again tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.